Hey, what's up, pilots? This is Efefay from the CDB Academy, and today we're going to be discussing the game concept of positioning. Positioning is where you are in relation to other things. It relies on four other sub-concepts. These sub-concepts are objectives, obstacles, individuals, and speed, which I will go over later in this video. These often intermingle, and eventually, thinking through this list of sub-concepts when making decisions in the game will become second nature to you. The first sub-concept we will go over is objectives. Objectives are things needed to obtain victory in battle. Some examples are beacons, staying alive as captain, defending the captain, and destroying the enemy captain. In team battle, the objective is to destroy the enemy team. This straddles the line between objectives and individuals. Some things to keep in mind when thinking about objectives are how close are you to the objective, and are you in a position to complete the objective? The next sub-concept is obstacles. Obstacles are things that prevent interaction between individuals and objects. So it could be individual and individual, or individuals and objects. So, some examples of obstacles are asteroids, walls, beacons, and other sorts of debris such as ship fragments or the tiny movable asteroids scattered around the maps that you sometimes see. Obstacles can be positive or negative. They can be positive by using them as cover from enemy fire or helping to hide your position. When hiding behind obstacles, you can be hidden from enemy sensor range unless there is a microlocator, a spy drone that is placed on you, or when there is an enemy on the same side of the obstacle. Without obstacles, you are being attacked from enemies without stopping, so like you're without cover. Obstacles can be negative in a way that they can prevent you from reaching the objective quickly. The third sub-concept we will go over is individuals. Individuals are your allies or your enemies. It relies on where you are in relation to your allies or your enemies. Are you sticking with your allies, or are you going off by yourself? Are your enemies clustered around an objective such as a beacon or an enemy captain? For example, are you rushing by yourself to a beacon clustered with enemies, as well as full guard drones, like 4 of them? Do you think you're going to capture that beacon or even survive? So that's just something to think about. The final sub-concept we will discuss is speed. When I talk about speed, I mean the maximum speed you can go at, or the maneuverability that you have, such as rotations, strafe, stuff like that. Having more speed makes it easier to position. This is why choosing a position as a frigate is much more important than choosing a position as an interceptor. As an interceptor, you have more leeway when making mistakes in positioning, and mistakes are more forgiving, whereas in a frigate, if you make a mistake, you're stuck in that position and must deal with your mistake. You can't retreat if you don't have enough speed. So, with your own individual speed, you must think, can I get to the objective in time to make a difference? Can I retreat to cover if I need to? Am I going to be able to stick with my teammates? Next, we're going to be going over the types and examples of good and bad positioning. There are 3 types of positioning, which are offensive, defensive, and stealth positioning. I will be going over some of these good and bad examples of each type in the form of video clips. So, in this example, you can see me in a bad offensive position, while the enemy team is at another good offensive position. So we're like trying to fight over enemy beacon, I guess. There are two snipers at different positions or angles, which makes it hard for me to use the beacon as an obstacle or cover. There's also an enemy interceptor, which I must deal with as well. This is a 3 versus 1, which are very bad odds for me. I have to try to dodge enemy snipers and destroy the enemy interceptor so I can capture the beacon or complete the objective. I have to keep in mind that I have the speed and maneuverability to dodge more easily because I'm in an interceptor. An example of defensive positioning is sticking close to an engineer, so the engineer can heal you and stuff like that. It's just really basic. Some examples of good stealth positioning are when attack their cloaks to attack an enemy frigate. You're supposed to position behind and below the enemy so you can deal as much damage until the frigate can turn around and face you. A covert ops can use cover to hide his engine trail while cloaked, because his cloaking mechanism works different from the tackler. Like, you're immune from center range, but people can still see you visually. So if you use the W or S keys, if you're using American Standard keyboard, and then they're going to be able to see your engine trail. So while he's in cover, while the covert ops is in cover, you can use W and S, and while he's out of cover, he can strafe so he doesn't emit an engine trail. Some things to keep in mind when using stealth positioning are to attack a lone target and not target someone that's part of a group. One last detail I want to go over is this. Firing when you aren't hitting anything gives away your position and lets the enemy know what they're dealing with. They can tell what damage it is and what class they're going against. So for example, you're shooting something and an enemy guard is there, he could tell what damage type you're using. So let's say I'm firing coil mortars, so he's going to change his phase shield to kinetic to defend better. He also knows I'm a frigate, so he will try to, maybe if he's using communications, voice comms, he's going to tell his teammates that there's a frigate there, something like that. Okay, so I hope this tutorial has increased your knowledge and skill in Star Conflict. In the video description there is a link to a written guide. If you liked what you learned, please hit the subscribe button below. And this is Efefay from the CDB Academy, and I'll see you in battle, pilots.